Oh, Steve Shives? Who's up for a little Stevie? Steven.
Steve here. It's the show where I answer your...
Oh, you're 1,000% too sweaty. Look at this. Great minds think alike. Steve. Oh, no. It's part of his stuffed teddy bear series. Oh, I wish... Oh, these are the sexist CD collection. Look at him. What a little pack rat you are, Steve. Here we go.
questions, and this week my first question comes from Bruce Bardup, who says, speed of response test, okay? Fast as you can. Ready, and I will take these one at a time. Number
3 good things about Trump, A, B, and C. What is that? Why A, B, and C? 3 good things about Trump. He's about to lose. He will die one day. And he's funny for all the wrong reasons.
Number 1, 3 good things about Trump, A, B, C. A, he's 70 years old, so he's
yes, Steve, yes.
in the latter portion of his life. He'll be dead relatively soon. B, he's going to lose the election.
He's A and B are mine exactly. Steve, great minds think alike.
C, the election will be over soon, which means
couldn't stick the landing.
We won't have to talk about Donald Trump as though he is in any semblance a legitimate mainstream person anymore. Number 2, how good is Clinton?
Oh, here's where he's going to look at him already the face. She's deeply flawed. Here's some of the Bernie talking points. She's not perfect. She's not like me. She's not pure progressive like me.
7 out of 10. 7 out of 10, I would say. 3, how...
Oh, fuck off. Your wife is 2 out of 10.
How great is America? I'll give us a 6.
Oh, that's self-hating. 6 out of 10 compared to what? This is a guy who's never left America. Steve, what are you comparing that to? After your comprehensive tour of Southeast Asia and Latin America, you're giving us a 6 out of fucking 10?
We've got potential. We've got room to grow.
Oh, if only we could follow your lead.
I'll say that. And I apologize for...
Look at the cheek. It's just... Did your cheek just run a marathon?
my somewhat sweaty
appearance. Thank you
in the video. It's October and yet it's really, really hot today. Boy, good thing that they didn't talk about climate change at all during that debate.
Dopey ass.
Huh?
Stupid.
Not that this unusually warm October has necessarily anything to do with climate change. I mean, it could just be an anomaly.
Steve, move on. Get to your Star Trek question. Hold on, is anybody even watching me? Who is watching this? 234 people. 20 downvotes, you motherfuckers. I'll give you one more. How about that? Shives time. This is my new segment called The Shives Files. 7 out of 10 seems reasonable. Wash your fucking face, they say. So harsh, but yet so true.
Right. Anyway, next question is...
Star Trek Next Generation or Deep Space Nine? The battle rages on in my family. I'm wondering, at what point do I break the news that I am more of a fan of Deep Space Nine than my father?
Specific Hieroglyphics, who says, hey, Steve, keep up the good work.
That's the punchline. What work? What work and what part of it is good?
Anyway, will you still be making videos whilst you're burning in hell?
Oh, God. Is this like some creationist cat humor?
It'd be pretty cool to see the pro-feminist social justice crowd casually making content whilst fire is burning all over the place and demons are flying everywhere. I'd imagine Kevin Logan would make a Descent of Manosphere.
What? How did he know what that stood for?
On Genghis Khan and Joseph Stalin. I wonder if the Rationals would include Adolf Hitler in their 3-hour Google Hangouts on an 8-minute video by Anita Sarkeesian. Sad.
Oh my God. So wait, let me just refresh here. So I can't really pick up on their inside jokes and humor. They're in favor of Kevin Logan and Anita Sarkeesian. Just, we're clear on that, right? Those are the good people of this story.
I think they would. What do you think? Would things be a bit more interesting? Would Google...
the way he spins the text. I mean, okay, here's the difference between Steve and me. There's many differences, but I will never spin text like that. And I will never have a black drop shadow on black text. Never.
Sadly, I think they would.
Watch this.
What do you think?
Ladies, put a towel down because you're about to get moist. Ready?
Would things be a bit more interesting? Would Google Hangouts have an 8-hour time limit in hell? Or would they be able to just go on forever? Could they do an infinite Google Hangout about Anita Sarkeesian?
You know what's gross? He's talking about how sweaty he is. Nobody wants to wear a hat when it's all muggy and boiling hot. And yet he's doing it, and it's a sweat fest under there, and it's smelly and gross. Do you think he takes it off afterwards? So he's like, oh, yeah, let me just, like, I'm Iron Man, so let me just take my suit off now.
Sarkeesian's latest 8-minute episode of Tropes versus Women in Video Games. I think they probably could, and I think they would. In fact, if hell is truly infinite, and once we die and we go there...
Good thing we don't have any nigger lovers here.
We become a part of that infinity, then, in a sense, right now, in the infinite dimension of hell, a bunch of YouTube anti-feminist douchebags...
This is so lame. He's trying to take a shot at anti-feminists right now? This is so weak.
...are doing an infinitely long Google Hangout pissing and moaning about some YouTube video that a woman with 20 subscribers made.
So not funny.
So yeah, I mean, in a sense, it won't be all that different.
Ew. Ew. Look at that. Look at that face. That's a face no man respects, no woman wants to be near. Or it's definitely not sexual. I mean, look at that.
Terry Williams. Steve, I was...
You're going to read this entire thing as you're spinning it?
Talking to a friend of mine, and we got onto the topic of cultural appropriation and clothing. Now,
you've triggered his racial sensitivity now. He's going to kowtow to the minorities and the indigenous and the Indians.
Now, there are instances where I can see where the culture being appropriated can get upset when someone else adopts something they thought was theirs. For example, if a white male...
A fucking white male, we might add.
...decides to dress up like a Native American for Halloween.
Wait, why is a white male? What if it's a Mexican male? He's not a Native American? What's a black male? See, that's way too deep for them. What if a black man decides to be a Native American? Tricky. He did have the slavery thing, and he's black, so I'm automatically not going to criticize him. So
Halloween. I can see why some descendants of Native Americans would be upset. Yet certain colleges have...
What do you mean descendants of Native Americans? They are Native Americans if they're descendants of Native Americans.
...banned such attire for students for dress-up parties. I don't think certain costumes, even ones that may be in bad taste, should be banned outright.
Oh, well, surely Steve will know how to strike the balance here. Yeah, if you come as just a disrespectful and stereotypical Indian, then no. But if you treat their culture with respect, then Steve will allow your Halloween costume.
Then on the other side of the ideological spectrum, the same arguments are applied to women when it comes to modesty. There are people in authority telling women that they must be covered from head to toe, like in the deeply fundamentalist Islamic nations and communities, or else they will be seen as tempting the men. So my question is the best solution...
Way to just set up the question for the perfect answer. Is it all or is it not all? It's somewhere in between. Thank you. Patreon me.
A middle ground in which people get to dress however they wish, even if it upsets other people, whilst not taking away the right of the upset people to voice their displeasure?
So
Take
dumb.
blackface, for example.
Oh, God, what is blackface? How is dressing up as an Indian for Halloween like blackface? And why did they go to blackface? How about whiteface?
Society essentially polices itself in that case because enough upset people make their voices heard, especially with their wallets, and decided that non-blacks wearing blackface is looked down upon. But it isn't banned. You still find white people wearing blackface at parties and such, and then a whole lot of people get upset. I think that's where the medium lies. Thoughts? I agree with you, although I would say I don't have a huge problem with college campuses banning offensive costumes like...
Oh, really? There's the authoritarian left.
Like
Here
that.
it comes.
I think a college...
is a safe space. It's an educational place where it's just not meant to trample upon the memory of the native peoples.
Has every right to... define and enforce a dress code if it wants.
It's not a dress code if it's a friggin' party. They're not showing up at class dressed in blackface. They're talking about Halloween.
Especially if it feels that doing so will make a more positive and welcoming environment for members of groups that maybe have
marginalized, historically disenfranchised,
been marginalized or the subject of
oppression or subjugation,
stereotypes and discrimination. I have no problem with that at all.
Well, I got a problem with you not having a problem with that.
But in general, if we're talking about sort of society as a whole, yeah, I think it's better to allow people to
hang themselves,
dress how they want, allow people the opportunity to make fools of themselves or to offend people.
Steve, you should run for president. You're so fucking wise. It's crazy. It's like, thank you for picking that question because your answer is so enlightened. And also it comes across that you are just this great guy. Are you married? Do you do stuffed animal sketch comedy, or can't believe I just called that comedy?
People, and then, as you say, in the case of blackface, hopefully society will wind up basically policing itself. The ideal situation is by marginalizing
Oh, Steve.
that sort of behavior, by attaching a social penalty to wearing blackface or
Social penalty. You have been penalized, sir.
dressing up in an offensive, Native
This should have a social penalty to it.
American costume as a non-Native American person. But by attaching that
Is that bug spray or is that WD-40 lube, perhaps?
stigma to that behavior, hopefully you will be allowing people to see why it is bad. It's not just, well, we're ruining your fun. You are not allowed to make fun of us because we're Native Americans or we're black people, and you're not allowed to make fun of us. That's not the argument. That's not the point, and that's not the lesson that should be taken.
Oh, right, because they make fun of white people all the time. Have you ever heard a black comedian? Just open your eyes.
From it. The lesson is you should make an effort to understand
The fucking lesson? You think you're in a position in life to teach people anything?
and respect different cultures, especially if it's a culture that has
Historically. The key word, Mr. Bunghole Mouth. Historically is not currently.
been oppressed.
Oh, oppressed. Motherfucker.
By
white people.
Your culture.
Your culture? No, Steve, your culture. You're white.
The Nightmare Rider. Where do you draw the line between
Boring.
a religion and the nature of meat on terror, legitimately in part?
Do you think Hillary Clinton is being looked at so unfavorably in part because she's running against Donald Trump? It's really annoying how often I'm hearing that both candidates suck and we're screwed either way. Yeah, that is the most idiotic statement. It's the most intellectually lazy, just bafflingly stupid thing to say. Do you think if Hillary was running against an average Republican, she would be getting, oh God, boring. Give me Star Trek. In the video, speaking up against bigotry is hard to do, but worth it. You share stories about speaking up when other people are acting poorly to others. Would you be willing to share a few stories about the times you said something insensitive? Oh, you? Yes, Steve, when did you drop the N-bomb? Or it could be taken as insensitive. And what you did after you realized something you had said hurt or may have hurt someone. Oh, God. Joe.
Would you be willing to share a few stories about... I'll give you two. One was, and these are both from when I was much younger.
Mm-hmm. I love how he has two stories, just cocked and loaded. One was when I called Deke a chink. I was wrong. I apologized a week later, and thinking back, I think I was just lashing out. I'd had a rough week.
But they still count. I don't let myself completely off the hook for...
Okay, guess what do you think he said? What did he say? I would say maybe he called somebody a fag. So he used a derogatory term for gay people. He said, if you're fag. What else? Maybe something about women, probably. He's always worried about how women view him. And so maybe he sexually objectified a woman, or, I don't know, called somebody a bitch. Let's see.
Ignorant shit that I did when I was younger. But when I was in, I think...
Nobody cares. You're boring us with the details.
Middle school. When I was in middle school and even a little bit up through high school, I had a homophobic streak.
Told you. Did I fucking tell you? See, people think that I am not a genius, and then it's weird when I live stream myself being a genius. Is it not strange to you? Is it awkward? It must be awkward looking at a stream of a guy just showing you genius shit. Unbelievable. Build a fucking statue for me right now. They should come in here and just pour bronze over me. Just dip me in gold. Like Goldfinger? Somebody preserve this. God damn it, I am Stephen Hawking of fucking YouTube analysis.
That I am not proud of. I grew out of it, but nonetheless, that was a part of who I was for a time. And I remember there was a girl in our class who had gone to elementary school with all of us. She'd been in my class ever since I started school.
Called her Dyke.
And she was kind of a tomboy, and I won't tell you her name, but...
We already know what her name could have been. Maybe Meek? No.
Her name was one of those names that could be either a boy's name or a girl's name. And people would whisper about her and say, oh, she's gay. I mean, I'm talking, at this point, maybe we're 12 years old. Like, who even knows that they're gay when they're 12? I mean, I know some people do, but...
Oh, God, he even had to be PC about 12-year-old gays. I don't want to, step on any toes of any, fabulous 12-year-olds.
A lot of people, you're still figuring out who you are. So
You're still fingering out?
whether she was gay or not, it may not have even been a relevant question at that time. But
To get over it. Jesus, look at he's backpedaling off this remark from like 1982.
I remember saying to her,
Suck my balls, you lesbian.
somewhat threateningly, I asked her if she was gay. I said, "Are you gay?"
That's the thing he's ashamed of. Are you gay? You gay? Do you even gay, bro?
And she said, "No," And it was just a really shitty bullying thing to do. Like the implication behind my words were, "You'd better not be gay,"
Oh, Steve, you're such. God damn it, Steve, you are just beautiful. You're a beautiful man. You saw the error of your 12-year-old ways.
I hope you're not gay for your own sake, because there's going to be trouble if you are. And I mean, I didn't intend to do anything to her. I was just being a bullying, little twerp. That's the long and short of it. I was just being
such a fucking loser,
little asshole, just a little jerk when I said this to her. And
give us the second story, Steve.
it's something that I wish I hadn't done. I wish I could take it back, but
story number two. Story number
it
two.
is, and I hope I hope that I am better than that now.
Oh, Steve, you're much better than everybody.
That I certainly wouldn't do that to anyone today.
Well, America's a 6 out of 10. Hillary's a 7 out of 10. What do you think Steve rates himself? Oh, it's not going to be 10 out of 10? You know why? He thinks he's 10 out of 10. But is not 10 out of 10 because to say 10 out of 10 that's a character flaw. You can't say that because that's hubris. No, he's just high on himself. And instead, what is he? 9 out of 10. No, he wouldn't even say that. He would say I like to think of myself as an 8 out of 10. Maybe I'm a 7.
And then the other instance is another homophobic thing.
Oh,
this one was
double
actually
up on
the one I just told you about. I didn't come to understand and regret until many years later. But this one that I'm about to tell you about.
Steve, you are a guy who took a picture of yourself naked with your pubes out. And it was a massive sea of pubic hair. And posted it on a dating profile, okay? Don't try to act like you're Mahatma Gandhi of freaking reformed homophobic people.
That happened when I was in my late teens, and it was something that was sort of...
He dropped an F-bomb.
...a changing experience for me. I used to write Batman fan fiction.
Oh. At least... Here's the good thing about what we're looking at right here. His face indicates to me that he knows that he should be ashamed. It's like the back and forth I had with a gamer dork online. And he had it in his bio on Twitter. It's like, gamer, number one thing, gamer. And I was like, oh, God, you're a gamer dork. I should ban you just because of that. And he goes, why? What's wrong with gaming? And I go, no, I'm sorry, you didn't hear me. You play video games a lot. Like, you're obsessed with, you're a gamer dork. And he goes, no, I'm a gamer. I'm like, you're a gamer dork. He didn't get it.
Relatively regularly. And I had a website where I would publish it. And I invited other writers to come in and write stuff for me.
Oh, Steve.
And there was another fan fiction writer who was writing his own separate sort of Batman.
Fan fiction Batman. Ladies? I mean, is that not on the top of your list? When they say, what do you look for in a man? Well, tall, dark, handsome, sense of humor, steady job, prolific at Batman fan fiction.
Fan fiction series, and he wrote a few episodes, a few chapters of it, and then he emailed me asking...
Oh, moist. Ready for that one? Oh.
To take down the website because he had found something else on my website, something non-fan fiction related, just like an opinion piece that I had published.
Hold on.
And he wrote a few episodes website, something non-fan fiction related, just like an opinion piece that I had published that had some homophobic language in it, like some homophobic jokes or whatever.
Wait a minute, you're doing Batman fan fiction and you're worried about being homophobic? Dude, you're a homo. Okay, Batman, it's homoerotic. Nipples on the suits of armor. Here's a mic drop. Robin. Okay, what the fuck was happening there? They are the inspiration for the ambiguously gay duo, which is an incredible series on Saturday Night Live.
And he said, I'm gay. And he told me I refuse to be associated with someone
Oh,
who uses my identity as a
yeah.
gay person as a subject for mockery and for
You got fucking schooled.
derision and for denigration. Like I
Derision.
won't allow myself to be insulted and demeaned.
Here we
Each of
go.
the MCU films from best to worst.
What the hell are the MCU films?
Not a question, Captain Michael, but I will acquiesce. Okay, I wrote
Is that Marvel Comic Universe?
these down because I just didn't want to have it go off from memory, and I actually put a little bit of thought into ranking the superhero movies. But anyway, okay, from best to worst MCU films. And by the way, I have
Dude, this guy spent a Tuesday afternoon doing this shit. He's like, honey, what are you doing? Just ranking my favorite from 1 to 20 comic book films.
omitted Ant-Man and the second Thor movie
This is my career. Ant-Man vs. Thor. The thoughts. The ponderings of Shives.
because I actually haven't seen those.
You know, the executives over at Marvel are just waiting. They're dying to hear this list.
But other than those, I've seen.
And look at that face he gives. It's such a defeatist face.
Haven't seen those.
It's such a like, hi, I'm Steven. This is my best face. This is the best it's going to be for me. Okay, if you're not into this, if you're not laughing at this, if you're not impressed by my performance as a human being, it's never going to get better. So please understand that.
But other than those, I've seen all of the movies in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So here they are, from best to worst. Captain America Winter Soldier, Guardians of the Galaxy, Captain America Civil War, Avengers 1,
Jesus.
Avengers 2, Iron Man,
that's a curveball.
Captain America First Avenger,
that's insightful.
Iron Man 3,
Bravo.
Thor, Iron Man 2,
disagree there.
Incredible Hulk.
Yeah, well,
there you go.
That's pretty much
I've
standard.
just never been a fan of that Edward Norton Incredible Hulk movie. Maybe it's because
Shut the fuck up, Steve. Edward Norton's a great actor, by the way, and he did well in The Hulk. And but he's about to tell us why he doesn't like it. Also featured in that movie is Hickson Gracie. He shows Edward Norton's character how to deal with breathing. And he is the legendary son of Helio Gracie, who is the founder and the creator of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and a man who I trained with, and he once almost put me to sleep in a chokehold.
I didn't think there was anything wrong with the Ang Lee Incredible Hulk movie. I still think the Ang Lee Incredible Hulk movie is
Who cares?
awesome, one of my favorite superhero movies, and I just thought the redo of it.
Okay, what are the chances this guy has Superman underwear? 100? Here are two choices: 100% or 99.9.
With the Incredible Hulk was just not good. But yeah, that's always of the ones that are considered part of the current Marvel Cinematic Universe. That Incredible Hulk.
Oh, and a nose pick. So it's nose pick at the start, it's nose pick at the finish.
Of the ones that are considered part of the current Marvel Cinematic
Yep, there it is.
Universe.
I'm picking my nose talking about ranking Marvel films. Good job.
Superman movie than Man of Steel, but again, it just isn't quite as exemplary as most of the other ones. But
Let's go to the speed round.
If I were on a grand jury and I was trying to decide whether or not there is enough evidence to prosecute him,
God, so stupid.
gimmick is your
God damn it. Get me out of here, Jacqueline.